Now, firstly, you might hear some buzzing in the background. The folks that keep our apartment's exterior clean and grass-free are out there with the weed whackers, so I apologize if you can hear that. And secondly, before we dive into today's legitimately great Detroit Red Wings news, I wanted to give a big shout-out to one of the best players the NHL had ever seen. Folks, today would have been the 100th birthday of terrible Ted Lindsay. And the name might be misleading. He was named Terrible Ted Lindsay because he was absolutely a nightmare to play against. And for the Detroit Red Wings, alongside of Sid Abel and Gordie Howe, he was one of the most decorated NHL athletes of his time. I mean, just look at all the points, look at all the playoff success, look at all the goals, and look at all the penalty minutes. Ted Lindsay was a monster, despite the fact that he was only 5'8", 163. I think the biggest quote that you'll see from Ted Lindsay, "When I put my skates on, I'm 6'5". That is absolutely indicative of the attitude that Lindsay played with, one of the game's fiercest competitors during his 17-season NHL career. Lindsay was among its most beloved ambassadors throughout the more than 5 decades of service to hockey that followed his retirement. Gary Bettman said upon Lindsay's passing in 2019, "In Detroit, he was a civic icon. What he lacked in physical stature, he possessed in intensity, desire, and will to win." One of the greatest left wings in hockey history, Lindsay was a man of deep, unflinching principle. I mean, just look at the accolades here. 8-time NHL First All-Star Team, 1-time Maurice Richard winner, 1-time Art Ross winner, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Let's be clear here, it might have been difficult to win individual awards like most goals or most assists in Lindsay's era because one of his teammates just happened to be doing that all the time too. Cough, cough, the Big Nine. But Ted Lindsay was born 100 years ago to the day, so we gotta go out there and pay our respects to one of the best Detroit Red Wings of all time. And plus, with the Red Wings and their 100th anniversary, it kind of fits the bill to see all this go down, right? Now, let's fast forward in time. Stop talking about Red Wings from 100 years ago and start talking about Red Wings of today, because I wanted to take a look at 2 guys that have been placed in the spotlight in a very positive way today. The first is Carter Mazur, who is a former Red Wings draftee in the 3rd round of the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, a guy of extreme misfortune. 23 years old, 6 feet, 172, a player whom we were getting super excited for as a Wings prospect because of his development in the NCAA. Mazur, after being drafted, became a near point-per-game stud for the Denver Pioneers in the collegiate system, and we made videos throughout 2022 and 2023 about how good this guy was and about how well he was projecting. Eventually, Mazur played a full season with Grand Rapids, scoring 37 points in 60 games in 23-24, and this previous season he had 15 points in 20 games too, so he definitely improved the point-per-game production. However, he had 1 game played with the Detroit Red Wings, and if you take a look at that game, he only had 1 minute and 10 seconds time on ice. This is because Carter Mazur, unfortunately, got injured on his very second shift. There's an article published on DetroitRedWings.com from earlier yesterday by Jonathan Mills that goes out there and reads some of the extra updates on Mazur. How he was called up for a reason, discussing the emotions of his NHL debut and his off-season training. Take a look at this right here. Rather than thinking about what could have been in terms of his NHL debut with the Red Wings on March 6th, Carter Mazur, when he unfortunately sustained a season-ending upper body injury, he is still concentrating on what lies ahead. "I was called up for a reason. My game is still there. It's not a career-ending injury, but the thought of that happening with all my friends and family there is still brutal. However, I have a great support system behind me. Every single one of them supports me no matter what. It was a tough thing to go through, but I have the right people behind me to get me into the right spot. Already having a year in the AHL under my belt, I felt more comfortable last year. That helped me a lot. I trust my ability, and I always go back to that. I feel like I have some skill and snarl to my game, and out of the 20 games that I did play, I felt like my game added a lot to the group. Now, there is a lot to go out there in regards to Carter Mazur, and I think this article does a very good job in just talking about where he is at and what happened since his debut. But thinking about some of the recovery over here, he says gaining strength was always a big part of probably why I've gotten hurt a lot. I'm on the smaller side, but Griffin's strength and conditioning coach coordinator Marcus Kinney and Griffin's physical therapist Zach Harvey put me in a good spot heading into the summer. Just keeping that muscle on, figuring out more about my body and what I really need. That's huge. Now, the reason we are talking about Mazur in this way, talking about how he has been in the Red Wings organization and how he's recovering, is because the other day, the Wings actually did activate this guy off of the IR, as posted about by Pro Hockey Rumours and Puckpedia. So, there is very legitimate reason to start talking about Carter Mazur one more time. Now, the hometown guy who played locally for the Little Caesars AAA team and the NTDP is going to be, hopefully, forcing his way back onto this squad for 2025-2026. I think when you just consider the production and you think about where he was at in his development, this is a very decent name to be paying attention to. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I think Mazur has a few hurdles to get over and a few other Red Wings to beat out if he wants to become a full-time dude. But assuming some of the guys on the Red Wings get injured, there probably could be a spot for Mazur to suit up in and maybe get some sort of a bottom six deployment. I mean, not everybody is going to play 82 games in this roster over here, right? Some guys will get hurt, other guys will get scratched, it's inevitable. But for Carter Mazur, once he gets that cup of coffee at the National Hockey League level one more time, I think that'll be very good and very exciting for Red Wings fans who have been watching this guy all these years. Speaking about guys that fans have been watching for years, though, let's talk about Lucas Raymond, because this is a very, very good update that we have seen out of The Athletic and Dom Lucian. Let's go out there and take a look at this post made on the R Detroit Red Wings subreddit by Simply Solace. This is a screenshot of The Athletic's top 10 best NHL contracts in 2025. Lucas Raymond ranked number 8. You can see here that per Dom Lucian's model on Evolving Hockey and Hockey Stat Cards, Lucas Raymond, who has an $8.1 million AAV contract, has a market value of about $12.6 million and 92% positive value probability. Essentially, what a lot of these numbers mean is Lucas Raymond is playing $4 million more expensive compared to what his actual contract is. He is valued at a player who's making $12.6 million bucks, but he's only really making $4.5 million in surplus value. That is fantastic. And if we scroll down here, we will see the actual write-up from the New York Times Athletic piece. Lucas Raymond has reached another level. That was clear to close out 23-24 and confirmed the following year with a near point-per-game campaign. Raymond is the real deal, and the Red Wings are about to benefit greatly from it. That's because of his $8.1 million cap hit, an amount that will equate to a high-end second-line player during the remainder of Raymond's deal. It's a mark he looks likely to blow past. Raymond is already a bona fide top-line talent and looks likely to ascend to stardom as he enters his prime. He is on track to become a franchise winger, a legit star-level threat, and his current price tag is a pittance for the kind of value he should bring. Raymond's deal looked like a win last year before he truly established his current level. Now it's a slam dunk. The fruits of Detroit's rebuild are finally coming together. So there you go, folks. Lucas Raymond is going out there and producing at a $12.6 million capacity. I mean, last season, he had 80 points in 82 games played. He's just getting better. This is a guy who is supposed to be the Swedish version of Mitch Marner, and I think at this point we're really starting to see that. So with all that in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Ted Lindsay, the man born 100 years ago, Carter Mazur's extended development and activation off of the IR, as well as Lucas Raymond's $12.5 million value. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all these Red Wings news and notes. I hope you enjoyed this video. and bye.